Hey there guys, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we will be reacting to, well, a MrRipper video, which is what is the most useless items you gave your party that they still were able to exploit? Part 1! Because why not? Anyway, let's press play and see what's going to happen, shall we?
Ladies and gentlemen,
And yes,
boys
this is a
and
new
girls
model.
of all ages and sizes, welcome to another set of D&D stories narrated by yours truly, Brian Von VA.
Yay!
Does everybody have a snack? Do you have something to drink? Please say yes, because we're in for another doozy.
How did you know that one?
Make sure to check out Riptovia. Links are in the description down below. Riptovia is literally our secondary channel where we post stories that are much like the ones here, except not really so many threads, more so one-off stories that you guys and gals out there create for us to read. So go check it out and then come back here. That being said, Dungeon Masters of Reddit, what is the most useless item you gave your party that they were still able to exploit? Part 1.
Hang on there. So, with the whole Riptovia, I thought that was just where they just rip a lot, where they just let a lot of things rip, if you know what I mean. Anyway.
Bagpipes of Invisibility. They grant invisibility as
that would
long
put
as
me
they're
to
played. Silence
that would put
is
me to
one
sleep.
hell of a spell.
Quite literally.
I gave my players a pig whistle. Once a day,
Why?
they could blow the whistle and summon a pig. I hadn't given too much thought about it, but they used it constantly. They would send pigs off to spring traps. They would have impromptu luau's to curry favor with peasants. They never had to worry about rations again. Pork for dinner! I thought it was just a useless throwaway item, but they sure proved me wrong. Good
True.
times. One time our DM gave us a rod of summon boat as a joke, except we rolled a nat 20 for the summon and got a whole ass galleon. The campaign quickly became pirate themed as we became privateers. Player here. Once upon a time I was playing a supernatural western game and we received a magic bullet early on that, when dropped onto the ground, will point in the direction of true north. We received this bullet in session 1 and promptly forgot it existed. We then went on a 2-year-long campaign of tracking down an evil time-traveling wizard with antics that included poisoning a bunch of rich people with ice cream, crashing a zeppelin, a player character going insane, and trying to murder his way into presidency, fighting a train monster, then finally confronting the evil wizard in a pocket dimension.
Of course.
We were somehow woefully unprepared to fight the bathrobe-wearing wizard, as he was immune to all forms of damage. We were at a loss as to what to do, until the wizard shouted that he can only be hurt by magic. We paused and looked at our inventories for a few minutes. Suddenly, my buddy shoves his character sheet in my face and points out the word magic bullet. I see this. We then proceeded to shoot the boss in the face, killing him instantly. Our GM was reasonably upset, since we were too stupid to figure out his puzzle fight and just cheesed the final boss of a 2-year campaign.
I mean, to be fair,
it was our most memorable climax.
To be fair, though,
the Jar of Endless
he did
Lard.
give them the option.
I put it in as a joke, and somehow they managed to set a forest in fire with a timed fuse. Also, having them covering various body parts in said lard to set it in fire for extra damage wasn't good. Father of a DM here. During lockdown, our 24-year-old son was living at home, so he couldn't play with his usual crew. So we agreed to a Sunday morning family D&D session and actually quite enjoyed it. His mom was a cook who had a magic ladle that could produce any liquid.
Ooh, any liquid, huh?
He said it would have a 5-meter range. He was expecting her to produce a healing soup, and he had to Google hydrofluoric acid when I said she could lob that at some kobolds. One of the players had gotten married to a pretty young NPC who wasn't an adventurer, so I gave him a ring of
That's one hell of a cook.
that would transport him to his wife for an hour, then send him back to the adventuring group. The ring worked twice a week and was intended as a joke. When the party was beaten up from a hard combat, he used the ring and asked his wife where the nearest temple was, then bought healing potions from the local cleric. Soon, this became a thing. Cure disease, healing, whatever. The ring became this guy's quick trip to the pharmacy. Although he always found a few moments for a quickie with his wife,
Of
Eventually, he
course,
woke
of
up the
course. You
cleric at
gotta
3
have
a.m.
a
to buy
quickie
more
with the
potions,
wife.
so I had the cleric throw a fit and yell at him to never come back. Player went back anyway, and the next time there was a bouncer at the temple door telling him to get lost. Maybe not exactly what you were looking for, but I've been looking for an excuse to tell this story. I had a party of wizard, ranger, druid, summoner, and barbarian back in Pathfinder
Alright.
1st Edition. All of the party
Alright.
members except for the barbarian had some kind of pet, be it an animal companion, familiar, or just a menagerie of animals the druid accumulated. A few sessions in, and my
Goddamn
barbarian
druid.
sends me a text while the party is setting up camp. The barbarian volunteers to take a watch, and the next morning, the rest of the party wakes up to the barbarian's new pet, Brock the Rock. Brock was a stone with eyes and a mouth crudely carved into him. Brock goes on adventures with the party and is mostly forgotten about until a
Brock the
premature
Rock.
fight with that arc's end boss. The boss wipes the floor at the party, leaving everyone unconscious.
I can
except
just
the
imagine that
barbarian,
rock
who
right
has
now.
single-digit HP. Not wanting to TPK, and with the boss in surprisingly worse shape than I expected, I have him taunt the barbarian and start to fly away. Brock is going to take his attack, the barbarian says, throwing his pet with all his might. Crit. Max damage on the roll, boss drops to -1 HP, and face plants at the barbarian's feet for the coup de grace, also performed by Brock to finish what he started.
That's one hell of
And
a rock,
that's
though.
how our party's pet rock gained a temporary flight speed of 40 feet and favored enemy verbose sorcerers. We had a rock that if you were knocked out with it, you were completely invulnerable while unconscious. You had to successfully hit yourself or whoever and take damage from being knocked unconscious from a rock to the skull. That rock caused so much chaos and death and life and permanent head trauma to NPCs who we were trying to rescue. I gave them a folding boat. Say a magic
Wait, what?
word and the small
A folding
shoebox
boat?
magically expands into a boat. Not
Huh.
5 minutes later, IRL, the fucking rogue has thrown this box from the roof and said the magic word, creating the only instance of 20 dice rolls I've ever had to do. I don't know about raw rules as written or rye rules as intended if this is allowed, but damn it, throwing a boat at people is too damn fun to not allow it. I created an NPC werewolf
I mean,
character
that
was
would be
supposed
fun.
to be a major villain in the campaign and stalk the players. It was a higher level than the PCs, so the idea was that they would need to flee every encounter and take measures to avoid being followed. Having someone on their tail constantly tracking them.
Hang on there. I honestly am just stuck imagining the rogue just throwing that box and then just saying the magic word and then just instantly having a huge boat fall onto people. Like, imagine the chaos that could cause in the streets.
them that could and would actually kill them was supposed to inject a sense of urgency into the game. On the first encounter, the werewolf was shown methodically slaying a large group of town guards and a high-ranking paladin. The characters were around level 5 or so. The NPC would probably be CR 12 and would scale as they leveled. They interrupted the combat, and the idea was that they would attempt to fight the werewolf, who didn't consider them a threat initially, and so wouldn't just murder the whole party, see it killing a high-level character and go, "Oh shit, we need to run from it," while it slaughtered the rest of the guards. So at first, they rush in to help and attack the werewolf, doing little
boy.
damage because they don't have silver weapons, and I gave this particular NPC a regeneration ability only stopped by silver. I have the werewolf attack one of the players with a secondary bite attack, which should put them to fairly low health without killing them outright. That player pauses for a moment and then asks if he can try to block the attack with his hand. I'm not sure what he's getting at, but I humor him and say he can do that with a DC 10 dexterity check, although it won't affect what kind of damage he takes. He succeeds and then asks if he can jam his hand into the werewolf's mouth. I say, sure, but he's probably going to bite it
boy.
off, and you'll need a new hand. He says, even better. I describe the werewolf doing so. The rest of the combat continues until the player's turn, who seems undisturbed by the loss of a hand. On his turn, he says, I activate Qual's feather token to make a tree. This token is a magic one-time use item that creates a 5-foot
I know where this is going.
tree. It's a handy utility item that our players
I know where
use
this
to
one's
spawn
going.
at. Previously, we'd used it to do things from just making bridges and crossing walls to providing a druid with a way to use a particular spell in a plantless area that requires trees. It didn't seem to have much use here. I ask him where on the board he's activating it. He points at the werewolf. I say that the most that's going to do is knock the werewolf prone, and he gets a fairly easy save to prevent that. He smiles. No, it's in the werewolf. What? How? I was holding it when he ate my hand. Oh, this werewolf. This is such a tricky move. Me and the rest of the party are kind of silent for a second. I'm trying to think of a valid reason why this won't work. I fail. The werewolf now has a 5-foot wide tree growing out of him. The fact that he has regeneration doesn't particularly help when little bits of him are plastered on walls 20 feet away. The entire party celebrated, and they got a reward from the town and an ally in the paladin who was supposed to be dead. I had to make a new NPC. Clever players are awesome, and that was amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I gave the party a tiny bag of holding made of human skin. I don't remember
why.
They were trapped in a house fighting a zombie horde, and they used the skin bag. Turned it into a sort of Molotov bomb. Used a spell to have it fly over the zombies, who followed the human skin away to be blown up. It was a 45-minute saga to get to that point, and it was easily the funniest and most creative moment I've seen from the DM side.
Why a human skin bag,
though? Not a DM,
though?
but my friend is, and he told me about a sword he gave the party. He called it the normal sword. When his players asked if there was anything special about it, all he would say is, it's just a normal sword. In practice, it was so normal that it would negate all magic. His party never figured that out, though. Kind of clever. Not a DM, but the last campaign I was in, the DM gave us a regenerative oasis that only appears to people that need it. The party was messing around with throwing bones in it and bringing the animals they belonged to back to life. One of the other players had the thought to throw the hat of the deceased king into the water and brought the king back to life because of a single hair. The DM hadn't even considered that possibility because the session was supposed to be our beach episode. Hey everyone, Brian checking in.
Like, bruh, what the hell? I mean, that king must go like, wait, I was dead. Why am I back here? Like, imagine the look of shock on the king's face, though. Like, I was fucking in heaven, god damn it! Or it's the whole thing of, I want to see Grandpa again, and Grandpa was having fun with a younger lady in heaven, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I mean, it is heaven after all. Just the thought of that, just the king coming out of there with a massive boner. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I sure did, especially with the last one there. Although the human skin bag of holding, I gotta keep that one in mind. Anyway, again, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video or stream of whatever I'll be making or streaming. So yeah, bye!